Did Pharrell rob Kelis?
Pharrell's like, oh, cause I'm happy. I'd be happy too if I was stealing all kinds of folks' publishing and rights to songs and all kinds of stuff.
Kelis was seemingly snubbed out of Pharrell's song Piece by Piece in scenes where he got key collaborators of his career involved.
One of them bad mad jamma.
As she previously claimed, the artist hustled her out of her music publishing.
Happened before, where people at least had the wherewithal to be like, yo, using your record, we understand that like Pharrell totally swindled you out of your stuff.
Which Kelis called him out for hypocrisy in his 2021 interview.
But no one should own you. No one should own your actions. No one should own your creations but you.
For backstory, in an article with The Guardian in 2020, she stated she believed she was splitting things 33% with her and the Neptunes, but claims she was deceived.
The real issue is the fact that the people like Pharrell knows better. This is a direct hit at me. He does this stuff all the time. It's very petty.
Then in 2022, the feud reignited after Pharrell used a sample from Milkshake on a song with Beyonce, something she felt was a calculated attack.
One artist to another, you should have the decency and the common sense and the courtesy to call, reach out.
However, Pharrell clapped back in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter in September 2024, saying he doesn't need her permission as it was himself and Chad Hugo that produced Milkshake.
And they're like, it's better than yours.
And past interviews could prove this.
The Neptunes produced the whole thing, and between myself and Pharrell, we wrote the whole thing.
Now in Pharrell's new Lego movie Piece by Piece, when he's detailing his most appreciated collaborators, it gets to Kelis and the frame shifts, which some would call and are calling a direct snub. Which is quite sad because she thought they were all family but was getting hustled.
Yeah, he's like my brother and he lets me, he's the one, you know what it is? Like, we're all a big family.
This all began in 1998 when Kelis signed with Virgin Records as she worked alongside the Neptunes, Pharrell Williams and Chad Hugo.
Every day we got in the studio, I wrote a new song, and every day we did new beats, and you know, every day Pharrell has a new concept or I have a new idea.
Pharrell was dominating music in the late 90s and early 2000s, almost guaranteeing artists hits from SWV to Mason Nore. Yes, Mr. Drink Champs.
Him and them called directly.
Working with Pharrell, they produced a song that put her on the map, Caught Out There. Kelis essentially became an overnight celebrity, and a year later she dropped Kaleidoscope, which many argue transformed the experimental arena in R&B.
Who cares if it's rock or hip hop or R&B? What difference does it make? Do you feel it? You know what I'm saying? If I can make you feel it, then I don't care what you call it.
Then Kelis released Wonderland in 2001 and was heavily touring, bringing money in, but something wasn't right.
But I've never in my life had a conversation with Pharrell or Chad as to what our plans are. We don't have any plans.
A few years later, she realized she wasn't making any money from those albums, and in an interview with The Guardian, believed she was splitting everything 33% with the Neptunes, but this wasn't the case. Then she felt lied to by her friends.
Pharrell's like, oh, cause I'm happy. I'd be happy too if I was stealing all kinds of folks' publishing and rights to songs and all kinds of stuff.
Kelis then claims when she confronted Pharrell, his response was, well, you signed it. But by the sounds of it, the Neptunes and the management completely hustled Kelis. I found this clip where Kelis acknowledges Pharrell's hand on her first two albums.
The Neptunes produced the whole thing, and between myself and Pharrell, we wrote the whole thing. It's a family thing.
But it's awkward if true, because in 2021, Pharrell said this.
But no one should own you. No one should own your actions. No one should own your creations but you.
The artist also expressed that he himself has been lucky in the industry.
You should always own your creations, man. I've had really amazing people to like help me with that.
Pairing the idea of somebody even having their hands on what you yourself have put your energy, soul and sweat into as disgusting.
You should be no one's slave. You should be no one's indentured servant.
Stating it should always be the choice of the artist, especially when they are collaborating with others.
For a very long time, man, you're not owning what you think you're owning. But when you get that sense of ownership and you understand it, the only thing you want to do is share that with everybody else.
Kelis seemed to have moved past this and was on good terms with Pharrell, or so it seemed when she went on The Breakfast Club in 2018.
Are you still cool with Pharrell? Because I know you were one of the first signings to Pharrell. Star Trek back in the day.
Yeah, I was the first. Yeah, we're good. I saw him like Grammy week.
However, this piece wouldn't last long because in 2022, Kelis spoke out against the use of a Milkshake sample by Pharrell on the Renaissance album by Beyonce, and that triggered a war with the Beehive.
No one had the human decency to call and be like, yo, hey, would like to use your record, which by the way, the reason I'm annoyed is because I know it was on purpose.
Kelis felt this was a targeted attack, perhaps for the 2020 interview with The Guardian, where she revealed she was essentially left penniless after allegedly being hustled.
From one artist to another, you should have the decency and the common sense and the courtesy to call, reach out.
Kelis referred to this, but perhaps suggests something people haven't seen.
It's happened before, where people at least had the wherewithal to be like, yo, using your record. We understand that like Pharrell totally swindled you out of your stuff.
Although the Beehive were attacking her on social media, she expressed that her problem wasn't with Beyonce at all.
So grow up, okay? I don't mince my words. I say exactly how I feel, when I feel it, how I feel it.
This caused Beyonce to remove the sampled song from her album to keep the peace, but Kelis referenced Pharrell's prior interview, essentially calling him a liar.
We've got Pharrell, who did an interview, I think last year, talking about artists' rights and how people should be able to rework their deals and artists should be getting credit for what they've done and all this stuff.
And not holding anything back.
Where in reality, when I was signed to him, I had the same manager that he had, and he has writing credits on my records, okay? All my singles, coincidentally. And he never wrote a song, a lyric a day in his life, okay?
Kelis basically called Pharrell shady.
Pharrell's like, oh, cause I'm happy. I'd be happy too if I was stealing all kinds of folks' publishing and rights to songs and all kinds of stuff.
More recently, the other half of the Neptunes, Chad Hugo, is in a lawsuit over Pharrell trademarking the Neptunes name and apparently leaving his former bandmate out. I'm Markndrew, follow for more.